Instead, a spear came flying from the blank grey sky where the arrows had fallen moments before. Then the cries followed. My heart pounded to the beat of those faraway drums. Screams wrenched the air, the cries of pain and wrath all stirred together. The sounds came from throats human and otherwise, though I could not yet see who they were. This was a battle. That was the only thing I knew for certain. Who was fighting? I looked at the ground. For some reason, I had not been able to see it. The ground was a mixture of churned mud and blood. A rumbling sound came from overhead. I did not need to look up to know it was going to rain. The downpour came a moment later in sharp, slashing sheets. The fog was driven away, replaced by the sky's watery rage. I peered up through the rain, soaked to my skin. The golden light of the setting sun burned through the parted clouds and the downpour. It was a moment of bliss, a glimpse of something majestic. It, too, was far away. The battle, however, was at hand. "Right in front of me." I said the words, but I could not hear them. A scream split the air behind me. I whirled, and my iron daggers appeared in my hands. At last, something familiar. They extended into long swords. I didn't remember pulling them from my boots, but there they were. Was I even wearing boots? When I looked down, I could not see. Perhaps it didn't matter. My power welled up within me. I couldn't hear the voices of the Morrigans in my head. I couldn't feel the warmth of the Way of Kings, the cool sensation of the Way of Seers, or the fiery uproar of the Way of Conquerors. But I knew they were there. They had to be. There was no other way for me to fight as I did without them. The creatures emerged from the ill-defined chaos. At first, they came one at a time, then in hordes. They were twisted things that looked like trees at first, but they morphed into other shapes. There were perhaps horns and burning red eyes, but I couldn't quite tell. What the hell am I fighting? I didn't know what I was up against, but I did know my own body. I ducked and spun, twisted and turned as I plunged my swords into the forms launching themselves at me. Cracking and splintering sounds reached my ears as I made contact. The cries came from the falling bodies stacking up around me. There were wails and agonized sobs. "All the living shall fall. All the dead shall rise." Again, that voice, the one that had told me to get out. I plunged onward. The rain grew thicker, and the creatures, whatever the hell they were, came closer. They were easy to kill. I shredded them like ribbons. It wasn't the flesh of the monsters that made the battle difficult. It was the never-ending onslaught. How far did this plain stretch? Where had these creatures come from? Still, the voice persisted. "All the living shall fall. All the dead shall rise." It was in my mind. Then it left my body and surrounded me. I shuddered. The voice grew louder. The horns and the drums also grew louder. No longer were they far away. "Get out!" I screamed. "Get away from me!" I felt the words in my throat, but again I could not hear them. All I could hear was the violent pounding of my heart. The voice droned on, fading in and out. I fought on. I couldn't stop. The tree-like creatures had fallen, but others had come to take their place. I gasped. I felt but did not hear it. Looming above me were new enemies, more distinct than anything else I had seen in this place. They were large in shape and proportion. I caught glimpses of taut muscle beneath layers of gleaming armor made from bone. Flashing blue eyes met mine. They were far above me. Oh, what were these terrible creatures? The only thing that came to mind was that they were descendants of a giant. How was such a thing possible? I'm dreaming all this, I thought, but my movements seemed too real. Although I could not hear my voice, I could hear the slick mud sucking at my boots. I could feel the hilts of my swords in my sweaty hands. This was real, but at the same time it was not. One of the beasts fell as I plunged both swords into its chest. Black liquid oozed out, and I could smell it. The rain was the first scent I recognized, but it was driven away by the order of the creatures. Their blood didn't have the metallic scent I was used to. It was much worse, like all the foul creatures in the world rotting.